Well, it's finally here. Now Nintendo finally announced it. Alright, now let's talk about it. So now the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2 is now like a little bit like more bigger than the Nintendo Switch 1. The Nintendo Switch 2 literally has more better fade outs than the Nintendo Switch 1. But or else if you also wanna like buy this, go to the switchup.ggg.com if you wanna buy it. But or else the fade outs are really good and the screen you also might wanna talk about it. Alright, now let's get inside to the description. Alright, what actually was announced about this Nintendo Switch 2 thing? But or else the Joycons are like even more like advanced than the Switch 1's Joycon. But this one even has like a little bit like the Nintendo Switch OLED, since like there's even like more like fade out and even breakdown inside this Switch 2, where you can even like do like more captures and videos inside of it, and it also like save it. And also there's even more about this, like more like analysis about the Switch 2. But this one literally has like a magnetic pole that the Joy-Cons can literally attract to, and also they also like get like repelled by this. So the Nintendo Switch 2 was actually branded by Nintendo. Well, what actually was announced about this? Well, there's actually a new game that came out in the Switch 2, even though it wasn't like came out yet, which was called Mario Kart 9. And now Nintendo Switch is like working on this and blah 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 on the game. Even more studios of it. Release schedule. What about the release schedule? About 2025. Well, let's talk about it. The Nintendo 5 has exclusive games and even the Nintendo Switch. To be honest, there's even games in the Nintendo Switch too. Like Metroid, Street Fighter, Alien Fighters, and also like Chronicles Blade 6. This is like a very like console design. Alright, now let's see the console design. Well, the design was the official design of the Switch One was made in 2017. Of as you guys already know, it since also has like better graphics since before Nintendo had like put gigs inside of it for it to have like loud volume and even more like costume designs like the Nintendo OLED for a reason, you know? It's like kind of like the Nintendo Wii U, but at least like in a robotics station way. Cause Nintendo used like a robot version of it and also like comparing with how they made it and even more like connections. And also they even add like a little bit like more designs, cause why not, they actually wanted to. And the magnetic Joy-Cons are the newest Joy-Cons in the Switch 2's own analysis design. Cause this literally has a little magnetic pole that could actually attract to the Joy-Cons, and it could actually like pull away. Like if you also want to take it out, use a click button behind it before the Switch 2 came out. But the magnetic Joy-Cons were actually made by a robotics program in the Nintendo Switch studio, where they like made a lot of like cool ministries about it, and also like other documents about this robotic thing. Also, even the magnetic Joy-Con, they had to use like a pole so I can like attract the sounds and even the sound effects, so they can even make it even more louder, since it's even like has great sound effects and even more. Since it also has like a click where you also like get it out. Before you do that, you have to click this little button that the person's pointing at. You have to like go to between these like thighs of the Switch. That's when you just like take it out. Like he's just explaining to you. But this thing is like 15% bigger than the Switch 1. It's like almost like the same size like the PlayStation 3 or 4. If you guys know what PlayStation is. But this one is about the Nintendo Switch. And since there also might be like a Nintendo Switch 3 in the future, we even have like even magnetic Joy-Cons already. So now they're bigger size that we also have like in our capture zone where we can also like do videos and even like on pictures that we can even like take pictures of our games that we want to, like the Nintendo OLED or the Nintendo Wii. Cause this type of video game console has all the types of games that you guys actually want to play. And also even more like a robotics program that Nintendo started making, like the first one, like the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then to click this, it's like a even more different way from the Nintendo OLED. So the smaller version of the Nintendo OLED was even more like smaller than the Nintendo Switch 1. But now this one is like more like an analyst about the Nintendo Switch 2, since we like all know about the thriller. But before we do this, it's like almost the same thing like a Steam Deck like we have, like Steam. But before they did that, they had to like do a little bit of cuts about the Switch, since they had to like do a little bit like a retro gaming. Then the Joycon mouse. Let's talk about the Joycon mouse. Well, the Joy-Con mouse is like the same, exact same thing like the Nintendo Switch 1, as you guys know already. And even more, including stuff that you guys always love about the Nintendo Switch. But this Joy-Con mouse, you can even like play with it and also like turn your counter around everywhere that you want. And you can even roll it on the ground, since it's very magnetic and strong, powerful. It even has like more source in it. But this one is like a little bit like dense than the Nintendo OLED before it had like, cause the OLED version didn't really have like that type of like psychologist power that the Nintendo Switch 2 has like right now. It's like almost the like same design like the Nintendo Wii U. Then the backwards compatible ish. What could we know about this compatible ish? Also, probably now, since Nintendo also announced on Twitter or Facebook, or even TikTok if it has it, then now the Nintendo Switch 2 will even have like alien games. It's like almost the same thing like the PlayStation 5 games that it has, like all those like zombie kind of things, even like buttons that you can even press, even like compatible versions like the Nintendo Switch Lite, like or the Nintendo Switch OLED. Cause this capture button can literally take almost every screen you have. And it's even like even better than the Switch OLED that you can even have at your own house. But this screen is like literally like dense than the Switch 2, since the Nintendo Switch 1 is like a little bit like cooler. But the physical differences, what can we know about these physical differences? But this physical difference is a lot different than the PlayStation, Xbox, or the Sega Genesis. But Nintendo even has its own power source and even like source of like robotics programs, since they like been working on Nintendo for like for the past 100 years to make all of this great nice fade out consoles that it literally makes nowadays. Like we all know like the Nintendo Wii or the Nintendo Wii U. Or even the Nintendo 64, as we all know that. And even cables that can even like we can use it for also like YouTube on our Switch. Like even cooler graphics that we have. But the Joy-Cons, they don't really matter as much, since you can even like play Street Fighter if you want. Like if you also like use like comments down, it's even right. Now let's talk about if it's safer or sensible. Alright, now let's talk about how it got created, also got like robotic-ish and all those type of stuff. As we all know from the Nintendo 64, it had all of these like great like 64 bits kind of stuff before the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. Even like the Immortal Slash like we play nowadays, like The Legend of Zelda or even Mega Man or Switch or their PlayStation like Xbox or anything like that. But Zelda is only in the Switch, as you guys know, or in the computer, if you guys just want to play as an emulator. Now, since we also have like Mario Kart 9, since we also have to talk about the new Mario Kart. So now, what new specialities about this new Mario Kart that we're also gonna have in 2025 this year? Well, let's talk about it. Well, since before we had like Mario Kart 7 or 6, like in the Nintendo Wii, like or the Nintendo GameCube, since I had like Super Smash Bros before, and even like more like graphics that I can even use, And now there's even like 24 compatible like characters in the game that you guys can even use. Like there's even like sensory in the game that I can like all know about it, and there's even like power source. Since the new Mario Kart, aka Mario Kart 9, but this one's even more lot different than the Switch one. Like we all have like the Nintendo Switch. It just like announced today, like the Nintendo Switch 2. But this time it's gonna have probably, is as you guys probably know, it also probably have Majora's Mask again, like the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask in the Switch 2. And there's gonna be a new update.